Happy Friday to my basics bitches out there. This is Friday No Filter, where we unleash the rant on the basics of health. Each Friday, we tear down the glossy facade and dive headfirst into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to thrive in the chaos of modern health. No frills, no fluff, just straight talk about what matters. It's time to embrace the chaos on your own journey and give a big, bold middle finger to the status quo. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. It's a Friday No Filter today. Super excited to be here with you. Thank you for joining me. If you get something for this, please screenshot. If you could just give me a 5-star review on Apple Music, on Spotify, you guys, this helps me get out into the world. It pushes me out into the algorithm of life, and it's super helpful since I'm just literally word of mouth. So thanks. Okay, so today we are talking kind of on what, well, Wednesday we talked about defining what your health is, defining what you think is health. And today I want to talk a little bit about what health is not. And I touched a little bit about my Eat Food Without Fear digital course on Wednesday. I kind of gave it a plug real fast, but I want to talk a little bit more about it today briefly, just give you kind of an overview of what it is. And the reason I want to do this is because part of what health is not, sorry, that was a really big sigh, probably in your ear. You like it when I breathe in your ear, right? Part of what health is not is food relationship, is a poor food relationship. And this should really be a part of your health journey, right? We are not fixing much if we are continuously using food to cope, if we are afraid to eat it, if we get shame and, guilt when we do things, if we have to be told exactly what to eat, otherwise we can't stick to a plan. If we start over every Monday, if we go into a super restricted diet, like, I don't know, there's so many more. If you think you eat clean or you can't eat carbs, if you think you have to eat rabbit food, if you think you cannot have food you love, all of these are a lot of poor food relationship things that I'm referencing. And I think it's really important to understand that in order to have a health journey and be healthy for longevity, for sustainability, for a long period of time, for overall health, these things have to change. It is very few people that should be in a keto diet. It is very few people that should be carnivore. Very few people that need to fast. Very few, but yet we keep pigeonholing ourselves into these little diets and into these little things that we think that we need to do because that's the definition of health. Or like I put on Wednesday, people are yelling at us that oatmeal is bad and you're going to die, and sugar is bad and you're going to die, and Oreos aren't lighting on fire, so you're going to die. Like all of this stuff, when really this is not the case. And how we think and how we feel about the food that we put in our body is so much heavier and means so much more than the physical food that we put into our mouths. Okay. And what I mean by that is if we are constantly eating things that we, quote, don't think we should or we're not allowed to have, and then we feel this massive guilt and shame spike coming through, this spiral that we keep going down. Oh, I already did this. I might as well just keep fucking going. I already fucked up my breakfast. The rest of the day is fucked. This is all a poor relationship, food, red flag, and you will benefit from this course, okay? Now, you're like, what? I don't understand, Sarah. Like, I don't even have time. You're calling it a digital course. What does that even mean, right? A digital course is literally a course that's digitized. So you're not reading things. You can either watch and or learn, listen while you're driving, while you're scrolling on TikTok, right? And dare I say that if we feel like we don't have 10 minutes a day for maybe 2 weeks, because these videos are like 5 to 10. There's a couple that are closer to 15 minutes long. If you don't feel like you have 5 to 10 minutes a day to fucking handle your health, you don't care about getting healthy. You're not interested in that. So it's really important to understand this piece and understand that without healing food relationship, you cannot have health. Okay. Without healing how we think and how we feel about the food that we put in our body, you cannot have health. And this is a huge piece that nobody fucking wants to talk about. Like I said yesterday on this thing, I put in there like, well, why can't we learn to have an Oreo? And how we feel about the food is way bigger deal than the food that we eat. He's like, yeah, that's just an excuse. And that's literally what he said. His response is, yeah, nice try, good excuse. What? I mean, I didn't lose 80 pounds by not eating Oreos. I lost 80 pounds because I changed how I felt about when I ate Oreos and the fact that they were so terrible and they were going to kill me. And I did everything wrong if I ate an Oreo and now my whole diet is ruined. And this is not the case, but it's what we are taught, right? So I think the other part of this is you cannot have health without accepting the pieces like a lot of how we were taught, how we were raised, and society and what they have taught us about health is pretty fucking inaccurate. So these are like two key pieces, right? It's how you think and feel about your food, so your food relationship, but also understanding that you didn't get here on your own. And I did a whole podcast on it. We didn't get to this place. We got to this place because of people like that fucking guy who's a doctor who fucking shames people for eating fucking Oreos. Yeah, that's super fucking helpful. Right? If you go back into my TikTok, I don't know if it's on my Instagram reel or not, but like if you go back in a little bit, I do a whole stitch on TikTok for that lady that was like, why can't fat people just get up and move their body? Like, you're just fat. Like, what's wrong with you? It's all your fault and all this. It's like, that's not true, actually. And that isn't helpful. Like, there's no empathy there. And yes, you're going to be like, Sarah, but you're pretty brash. I am pretty brash. And I'm not going to say that I'm not. Right. But I also love in a big way. And I desire desperately to help you change that because I've been you. I have felt where you have been. I have been where you have been. I have lived where you have been. Right. The never ending cycles, the always starting a diet on Monday, never feeling like you're good enough. Don't want your husband or significant other to touch you. Always wondering if you're the fattest person in the room, joking about your fat because you're going to fucking call it out before somebody else gets to. Like, yeah, I know I'm fat. Got it. Understand. Thanks. Don't need you to fucking tell me. I look at it every fucking day in the mirror. Like, that's how we cope, right? And then what do we typically use? Food to handle it. Food. That's how we deal with it. We eat more. Oh, I'm not going to eat anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to, boom, fall in the same cycle. Oh, I'm not going to eat this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. Boom, fall into the same cycle. Just round robin it, right? This is the reality. This is the truth. Without fixing that food relationship, you are never going to have health. Okay? You cannot get around it. You cannot get away from it. You cannot, right? So it's like, you have to accept that it's your responsibility to do something about it, but it's not your fault that you got here. But it is your job to change it. It is your response. Just have a hiccup. It is your responsibility to change your trajectory. That is your job. So don't dwell on all the things that you haven't done. Don't dwell on how long it took you to get here. Don't dwell on any of it. Click the fucking link in the show notes. Start diving in and don't just, and this is the other thing. I don't want the course to just be shit you consume. You can consume. Listen to one thing. Think about it. Take some time. Let it digest. Listen to it more than once. Think about it. Ask yourself some hard fucking questions about the topic that we talk about. Like, don't just surface, consume, and do nothing, right? We can constantly be consuming, and doing nothing is not going to help. It's not at all beneficial, right? So some of the topics that I talk about, I'm pulling it up here really quickly. Some of the topics that I talk about, just to give you an idea of like, well, how is this going to help and what is actually involved and how do you like do this, right? Like, the first thing I talk about is how you get to win at doing this module. Like, what does this look like, right? Do you want to win? What is the plan here, right? Things that you don't need to focus on. What are things that you're focusing on right now that you need to stop worrying about? Things that you need to focus on, right? Becoming aware, packing your patience, get curious, permission to ask yourself questions, right? What is the value of food? How do we silence food noise? Nervous system regulation, right? Where does the food noise even come from? Like, where did it, I know I have it. How did I get here? Okay. We talk about cravings, triggers of emotional eating, right? We talk about binge eating, right? Then I give you some cool sheets, right? I give you the craving control cheat sheet. We talk about being overwhelmed with all the decisions and all the crap, right? And then again, I gave you some cheat sheets. So we have, there's a dining out guide, a social guide, and then a cravings cheat sheet for you to utilize. Okay. So I want you to utilize these. I want you to use them. I want you to use them. I don't want you to just consume the material and be like, okay, great. I want you to actually take it and use it so that you can feel like you're starting to step back into that driver's seat. Okay. I want you to feel like you can, do the thing. Okay. So that being said, if you just click the link in the show notes, you will find the very first thing is going to be Eat Food Without Fear. I put it on Wednesdays as well. Maybe I think. And if not, I think I put it on Mondays. I'm not even sure, but it'll be on this one. So you can start diving in this weekend. Take 10 minutes a day. Listen to one module. That's it. Just one module. Very, very similar to how I coach. Do one thing at a time. We don't have to consume this content in, 2 hours. We can just consume 10 minutes of it and then step away for a minute and come back to it. Okay. So if you have questions about this, please let me know. I'd love to get some feedback on the course itself. So if you have any, you can leave actual comments right in the course itself. So I would love to get some feedback on that. But you guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend and really think about what your definition of health is. If you haven't thought about it yet, go back, listen to Wednesday's episode and really start asking your questions. You guys, if you can't do this shit on your own, like you listen to and I see you're listening to every episode and you're not following through and you're not doing things, you need to hire a coach. Sorry, I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it. You need to get some fucking accountability because all I'm asking you to do is think about what health looks like. If you can't think about what health looks like for you and define that shit, you're not ready to get healthy. If you can't take 10 minutes a day and fucking watch a video or less, you're not ready to get healthy. You need to have a harder look at in the mirror and have a harder conversation with yourself about why this is so hard and what you got to do to get there. Okay. So, again, link in the show notes. I will be all weekend at a pool, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, joy. I love it. Actually, I do. So excited to watch my kiddos kick some ass this weekend. I hope you have an amazing weekend and I'll catch you on the next episode.